least a couple podcast episodes this year out of the roughly 150 I've done on Christian McCaffrey. He is fascinating, 29 years old, and he is leading fantasy running backs in points thanks to leading all running backs in targets, and it's not even close. Leading all running backs in receptions, it's not even close. Leading all running backs in receiving yards, it's not even close. He's only averaging 3.6 yards a carry, but fantasy managers probably justifiably are thinking, who cares? He's dominating. That's what counts in the end. But that doesn't change the fact that next season, there is a blaring red siren next to his name, or a red flag or any kind of red symbol that you need to know, not to draft him next summer. If you're in Dynasty and you're not going to win the title this year and you have Christian McCaffrey, I am saying with 99.9% certainty that his value will drop significantly within the next 9 months. And that is based, a lot of it, as those of you who've listened to this podcast for a while, read my blog for even longer, is based on historical data. Here's the brief rundown of where things stand with Christian McCaffrey. He'll turn 30 next summer. That's a problem. It's not an unmanageable problem. I mean, Derrick Henry, I guess, is going to be 32 in a couple weeks. So, it's doable to still be great. And Christian McCaffrey, a lot of his usage does come through the air. So it's what history shows is that running backs who rely much more heavily on the ground game, rushing, you have to be built a certain way to withstand that, built a certain way, whatever that means. But the point is you've got guys like, historically Eddie George, LaDainian Tomlinson, whoever else, they can get 350 plus carries, 400 carries, but there's a lot of guys, most guys, who can't. And they cross that threshold of 350 carries, not just touches, but carries, and the wheels fall off. Christian McCaffrey, twice in his career, has had over 400 touches, and both those times the next season he has flopped because of injuries and because of inefficiency. Mostly the injuries, but he also hasn't looked the same. And so this year, 2 years removed from his last serious injury, the Niners are giving him everything he can handle. And as a result, he has 345 touches. He's on pace for 419, which I think would be his career high. I have to look that up. But, point is, it would be the third time he would have gone over 400. Niners also look like a playoff team. Let's say they win one game in the playoffs. So they play 2 games total. If McCaffrey's playing every game, suddenly he's looking at 450, 460 touches this season for a guy turning 30 next year. That's awful. That's mismanagement. I get that the Niners are a good enough team now where they can see a Super Bowl. They know that a healthy Christian McCaffrey, and a mostly healthy receiving core, and a good enough defense, could take them pretty far in a fairly wide open, NFL. The Eagles, don't look nearly as dominant, obviously, as they did last year when they won the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are out. There is this thing is wide open. And so the Niners are basically working Christian McCaffrey as much as they possibly can, hoping he stays healthy, rather than giving him 14 to 18 touches a game. Just looking at his recent work last week, he had 23 touches. The game before that, he had 24. Game before that, 31. He's had less than 20 only once in the last 6 games. That's a problem. It's a problem if you are in Dynasty or if you are planning to draft him next season. His ADP, barring a serious injury this year, his ADP next year will probably be top 3, maybe top 4, which would be ridiculous, given the fact that nearly every old, as in 27 or older, running back coming off a 400 plus touch season has regressed the next season, and usually that regression is significant. So again, I get it. The Niners are doing what they need to do because they want to win a title, and McCaffrey is a big reason how they can do it. But there's an if in that. And the if is McCaffrey staying healthy because he's not running very well. And he's getting by on all of those receptions, and touchdowns. Touchdowns, great. I mean, he deserves it. He's near the goal line. He runs it in. Wonderful. That's his job. The receptions are so far above where the rest of the NFL is that, it's, that is what's driving much of his fantasy value. And unfortunately, that efficiency that he has, 3.6 yards per carry, whatever it is, it's not going to suddenly get better next year coming off what could be a 450 plus touch season. So if you have him in Dynasty and you're not going to win a title this year, I would immediately, when this podcast ends, or do it now, you can turn off this podcast episode and just do it now, put out feelers, and see who wants McCaffrey, because I'm 99.9% certain, again, that 9 months from now, his value will have plummeted or will be plummeting, and you don't want to be stuck with him at that time. This is BJ Riddell, Fantasy Football for Winners. Follow me on the blog, email me anytime. See you tomorrow.